Hello, my name is Rick here at InsiteIG. Today we're going to talk about the sensor mounting kit, how to get the sensor mounted on a handrail. This is the complete bracket as it comes shipped from the factory. There's basically two plates held together by these U-bolts and some hardware. The other two U-bolts and hardware are taped to this back side here. So this is how the entire assembly comes from the factory. These are the individual parts that come in the bracket kit. You got the plate that mounts on the handrail. You have the plate that mounts on the pipe holding the sensor. You have 4 U-bolts. You have 4 flat washers, 4 T-spacers, 8 locking washers, and 8 nuts. Once you've mounted the sensor on the end of the pipe and run the cable up through the pipe and out, then it's time to mount the plate to this pipe holding the sensor. You want to make sure that these ridges here are facing up towards the pipe, and you just put your U-bolts in. Like that. Turn the pipe over. You want to put the T-spacers in first, then a lock washer, and then a nut, and snug it down. And then do that for the remaining 3. Once you've got those snugged down, just take a nut driver and just get them tight enough to where they don't move on the pipe, but you don't want to over tighten them, causing this plate right here to bend. If you bend this plate around that, it makes the brackets very difficult to use. So you don't need to over tighten them. Just get them down nice and snug so the pipe doesn't move on the U-bolts. You can see that's not going anywhere. So you just get it like that. That's what it should look like when you're done. This is the plate that mounts to the handrail itself. You'll notice they've got circular holes that are bigger than the slots. At the top, those need to be up. So what you do is you take the bracket, and for this exercise, we're going to imagine that I'm standing on the catwalk and the basin's on the other side of this handrail. So we want the sensor on that side. So what you do is you take your bracket with the circles up, as you can see. Put the U-bolts through like that. Take a flat washer on both sides of it, a locking washer on both sides of it, and a nut on both sides. Snug those down. And then you want to do the same thing for the other side. Once you get that relatively snug, but you can still move it, you want to position it at about a 20-degree angle or so out into the tank. Then get your nut driver and go ahead and snug it down. And again, you want to make sure that you don't over tighten this and actually bend the metal. And there's reinforcement and supports to help make sure you don't bend it, but you still, if you over tighten it, you can bend it and it becomes very difficult. So you just want to tighten it down just enough to keep it from moving. You can see that's on there pretty good. Now that you've got your bracket mounted to your handrail and you've got your other bracket mounted to your pipe holding the sensor, to install the sensor in the basin, you just take and those T spacers go through the big holes, then they slide down, then they slide over, and the sensor is now installed in the basin. To remove the sensor from the basin, you simply lift up, slide over, and up to the big circles and pull them out. And that's what those T spacers are doing, is holding it in that big circle there. That's all there is to it. It's that simple.